Hey there, adventurous Americans! Are you looking for a place where your wildest dreams of survival of the fittest can come true? Well, pack your bags and grab your amulet of bravery, because it's time to explore China. Oh, and did I mention, right now it's visa-free for 10 days for Americans to visit. So let's see what you've got in store for your visit to what the Chinese government calls the safest country in the world. Let's not forget the delightful charm of local nationalists. The Chinese government's been priming the public to not only hate Japan, but especially you Americans. You might get sworn at, maybe even kicked in the balls.
What can I do?
Yeah, she made contact.
A little welcoming kick to the balls never hurt anyone, right? Right? It's just the Chinese nationalist way of saying welcome to China. Have you ever dreamt of being run over by a car in a mass attack? Well, you're in luck, with China's friendly neighborhood murderous drivers showcasing their skills on a daily basis in mass attacks against societies as they mow over countless dozens of people at a time. You'll get to experience some of the most isolated incidents. Remember, if it happens every day, in China, that means isolated. Nothing says vacation like a near-death experience, right? And who says you can't mix in a little danger with your dining? In China, you might just get a free stab. It's not just the cars doing the work. The brave murderers are honing their skills with knives as well, with mass stabbings happening almost daily in China now. The thing is, mostly it's just stabbing students and kindergarten children, but don't worry, stabbing American tourists is totally in vogue now too. Alongside, stabbing random groups of people walking down the street. Talk about a unique meet and greet. Are you feeling explosive? Well, you might just get blown up. Workers are igniting their frustrations in the most literal way possible. When wages are a myth and the economy is, well, let's just say, struggling at best, a good old workplace fire or explosion is the best way for them to express it. Pro tip, stay clear of any hot spots. Do you like haunted houses, spooky experiences, maybe ghost houses? What about ghost cities? With millions of excess homes that have been paid for but not finished due to fraudulent loans from the government, there are spooky husks of apartments everywhere for you to explore. However, just a little word of warning, don't try and live in one of these, even if you've already paid for it. The cops will, in fact, take you away. Do you want to live out a real spy novel? You want to be looking over your shoulder every minute? China will assign a government minder to you to watch your every move. And don't worry if you think they've missed something. They already know about that alt account that you have on Discord that you use to post anti-Chinese government memes well in advance. They already know about it all. In China, a quick trip to a friendly police kiosk will reveal everything. You've just earned yourself a trip to a black site prison. They might even let you keep the black hood when you're all done. And now that your spy dreams have come true, you are in fact a spy, because China, without trial, will make sure they accuse you of being one, so they can hold you ransom as a political hostage for years, until they get the US leadership to agree on some selfish demands they've made. While you're disappeared in prison, don't forget to say hi to one of the millions of imprisoned Uyghurs from Western China who got in trouble for the little-known crime of not being Chinese, or not providing the Chinese government enough cotton in their years of forced labor. Who doesn't love a good detainment in a foreign country? Just think of the Instagram posts. Hashtag vacation goals. Hashtag in custody. Wait, Instagram's blocked in China. So is YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all the other websites. But anyway, I digress. You probably wouldn't drive 100 miles an hour down the highway without a seatbelt on. You probably wouldn't travel abroad to a really, really dangerous country unless you were taking proper precautions. Well, the internet's the exact same thing. The internet has become untamed. It is a very, very dangerous place, and that's why it's so important that every time that you're on the internet, you use a VPN. What a VPN does is it actually encapsulates your internet connection so that nobody can enter in on what you're doing. So they can't get things like your credit card information, your personal data. Anything that you're doing is protected and shielded. And the best VPN out there is Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is one of the easiest and fastest VPNs to use. Select one of many different servers from around the world and your internet is protected. Don't forget that you can actually use Surfshark on unlimited devices too. Another cool thing that Surfshark VPN does, it actually defeats price discrimination. Depending on where you go on the internet, they'll actually charge you different prices depending on where they think you are. So you can trick that website into thinking that you're in a different country, and you can actually get cheaper prices on car rentals or hotels or really a bunch of different stuff. Don't forget that it also opens up all the Netflix libraries from countries that have different content as well. Surfshark is awesome. Go to surfshark.com/Lawai86 and take advantage of a special deal right now where you're going to get up to 4 months for free. Go to surfshark.com/Lawai86 and protect your online privacy today. Hey, if you're lucky, you might actually get to skip jail completely, and the local gangsters might even offer you a free one-way trip to Cambodia to work in a slave call center where you get tortured and shot if you don't get enough Americans to empty their bank accounts over WhatsApp. Are you craving that authentic local cuisine? Beware, you might just end up with a side of food poisoning, quintessentially paired with the cancer from the heavy metals from the local water supply. Yum! From spit oil to shill broth, from maggot meat to piss eggs, China's got your bases covered. Let's be honest though, when you get back from your trip, how cool would it be to tell your friends at the bar that not only you got salmonella from China, but also dysentery? It's not just in history or on Oregon Trail. In China, it's a reality. Book your trip to China now. What have you been waiting for? Adventure is calling. Pack your sense of adventure and head on over to China. Who knows? You might become part of a local legend or international news, or at least score one of those free souvenir hoodies that I told you about from your thrilling detention. Book your trip today. What could possibly go wrong? Jokes aside, I lived in China for 10 years, and I absolutely loved it. It's a great country with great people, but the thing is, China under the current CCP regime is a very different place. China's goals and morals and ambitions have changed, and the way they express those goals is very scary. It's no longer a place that I can recommend going to. When mass violent events are happening every single day and the government doesn't count them in crime statistics and then blacks out all media and censors every piece of media about it, we can't make up our mind about whether it's a safe place or not. In fact, with the stuff leaking out of China right now, it certainly does not look like a safe place. China's now censoring and arresting people at North Korean levels when they try to tell people about what's actually going on there. So you simply don't know what's happening aside from Chinese propaganda. What I'm seeing leak out, life is simply too unpredictable right now in China for me to recommend going there. There are thousands of videos right now on YouTube or on Instagram or on TikTok that are coming out at a rapid pace of people going to China. It's mostly been British people, but now you're probably about to see a ton of Americans. The Chinese government is desperate for foreign currency and soft power. Some of these people making these videos that you might see on your feed are paid for by the propaganda department of China. Some are just incentivized by tourism companies, maybe for free airfare or free hotels, but these tourism companies work on behalf of the Chinese propaganda department. And some people just see it as an easy way to get views, to make clickbait travel videos, but somehow haven't realized yet that China is an authoritarian adversarial nation that takes random Westerners as political hostages and is committing genocide in Western China, has hacked the US's critical infrastructure to be able to shut down our electrical grid, hacked our entire telecom network, and is currently living in the internet ready to destroy our country. Somehow they didn't get that memo. China is using its 10-day visa-free policy to get fresh off the boat Americans to go to its Potemkin villages that it has carefully crafted to look completely perfect. They want them to go film some carefully crafted content and then use it as propaganda for their own selfish gains. It's no different than going on that trip to Pyongyang on a guided tour and thinking that you now understand the human rights and political situation of North Korea. You cannot go to China and go wherever you want and film whatever you want. I tried that, and let's just say it didn't work out. When you see these videos on your feed, know that it's a multi-billion-dollar campaign from the literal Chinese Communist Party crafted to subvert Western nations and promote its own selfish and sinister goals. Also know that the vast majority of these people in these videos have no experience with China at all. They don't speak the Chinese language, and they do not know what is going on there. But if they do, and they are accepting payment from the Chinese government, knowing all of what I've just said, they should be very ashamed of themselves. If you like this video, you're going to love The China Show. It's my weekly podcast that I do on YouTube every single Friday with my friend Winston. go to @TheChinaShow. Make sure you're subscribed there. Make sure you have your notifications on there. Also, don't forget it's an audio podcast too. You don't just have to watch the video version of it. You can go to any audio podcast place, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of those other ones, and just look up The China Show. Make sure you give us a follow. We'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.